spirits and the paranormal. There are true believers out there who believe that these supernatural forces are all around us.
Yep, tonight Owen Conflenti takes you inside some of the Houston area's most haunted destinations, where you can decide for yourself if you believe.
Paranormal explorers are searching across Houston for things that go bump in the night. Ghost hunters think something lurks inside this old house in Navasota. It was built in the 1800s and belonged to the Horlock family. They donated it to the city of Navasota, and it was used as an office. One worker would not go back after going upstairs and finding the bathtub overflowing in the empty house.
Now, this room here is pretty active.
Those who care for the house say they randomly find lights on with no explanation, doors locked, and old trunks moved.
I would go so far as to say that this is definitely, it's got to be one of the most haunted homes in Texas.
Hey, my paranormal people. Welcome to this episode of Paranormal Tripp Flashback. But before we begin, I'd like to preface it. Well, I've always taken pride that this project of ours, I consider it a practical, pragmatic, and rational approach to the paranormal. I'm an open-minded skeptic. I don't go into any place thinking one way or another, whether it's haunted or not. And any evidence that we may capture, well, I believe in questioning, and debunking your own evidence. We always try to rule out and explain any of the evidence that we may capture. Whatever evidence we can't explain right away, we just label it as unexplained. And then we offer it for peer review, which is where you guys come in. Because nobody is an expert in everything, right? There might be somebody who is an expert in photography or videography, or they may be a seasoned home inspector or a structural engineer or a biophysicist or a biologist or whatever. And you guys may be able to offer from your experience and your expertise and knowledge an explanation that can rule out some of the experiences we have. As far as the cynical trolls, well, there are a dime a dozen. The ones that just shout out fake and don't offer any proof or any explanations why, well, you just ignore them and move on. But for the rest of you guys, you paranormal enthusiasts, you experienced paranormal investigators, we want you guys to chime in and comment below and let us know what you guys think. Having said all that, if there's any place that we've ever gone to that we've investigated that has pushed my open-minded skepticism to the limit, it's this place here that we're featuring on this episode. This place was one of the most active locations we've ever been, and active as in I can't explain right away some of the things that we experienced. And we're not talking about spirit boxes or novelty apps. No, this is stuff that we heard and experienced. So I hope you stick with us through the end, because we are going to reanalyze and comment on the footage that we caught. And we'd like for you to join in. And I'm going to be joined by Christina Quinn, who is a friend of the trip, a YouTube vlogger extraordinaire. She's going to come and join me in as we walk through this location. So having said all this, come along with us as we go and find out what's currently going on, what the house looks like now, because we investigated almost 10 years ago, and hear some of their stories of what they're currently experiencing. Let's go explore the Horlock Art Gallery and History Museum here in Navasota, Texas. Let's go check it out. Now, this is where I'd be sharing interview footage of what the house currently is today. But ironically or coincidentally, the camera malfunctioned and a lot of that footage was deleted. But the Navasota Artist in Residence program, they give 3 artists the opportunity to create art at the house. There's living quarters, studio space, and they give them the opportunity to actually live in the house if they so choose to actually stay in the house. Now, flashback to about 10 years ago when we initially went to go visit. There was just a creepier, spookier feel to the house. The original furnishing was still there. The possessions from the Horlock family was still in the house. Not saying that the house isn't spooky now, because it is. It's just the furnishing is no longer there, and it's an art gallery filled with great, beautiful art. So, let's say we go inside and see what they're currently experiencing now, shall we? All right, so we were talking about why this place might possibly be haunted. What have you found out so far, just from your research?
So we've been trying to figure out like why the house is as haunted as it was, and it's kind of hard to find information about it. Like the family, there's not a lot of information online about it. And so I was looking at kind of like Sanborn maps to try to find like what was here before the house was here, because the house was built in 1892. Okay. So the town's been founded since I think the 1830s, 1850s, sometime between then. And so there was a lot, like this town was like an outlaw town. There was like shootouts and crazy things, like all like from 1870s through like mid 1900s. And so there could have been something that like made the house haunted before it was built, is what my like kind of understanding is what it might be. But this family was in the house for 100 years. So it's probably sure that at least someone died in this house. Sure. Either the man who built it, Robert Augustus Horlock, or his wife. And I think his wife died in like the 1990s-ish.
And supposedly there was a conspiracy story?
So in, I think, 1912 or something, Robert Horlock was a part of the conspiracy to assassinate the sheriff that was in town. There was a big shootout and rebellion up against, like, because there was some white supremacist type group that he was a part of that rebelled against the sheriff. Wow. So it was... Jeez, that story's pretty crazy, yeah.
Who knew? Wow. I mean, it might still be him that's just doesn't want to leave the house, huh?
I went to go ship a package this morning, and Ashley said literally before I even got to my car, she heard like a bunch of knocks around the house.
No way. Oh, that's crazy.
Like as soon as it knows, like that when one of us is like not here.
Have y'all seen anything? Any visual? Anything?
The only thing I've seen is the night that I wasn't able to sleep. I could see shadows moving back and forth under my door. Oh, jeez. But I couldn't hear footsteps.
That's more than we ever experienced. We never saw anything.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And then I set up.
That's enough.
It is enough. Yes, it is.
Oh, jeez.
And we didn't see it, but when the curtain fell down, we were both sitting in the kitchen and we heard it like fall, and we immediately walked over, and the curtain was like, had been like ripped off the window.
So this one.
Oh, okay.
We heard something fall. Yeah. And then we found it in the pool, but it's
solid.
I took a picture.
Yeah, we took pictures.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So did you tell them about the vent too?
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of briefly.
Well, wait, what?
The vent.
Oh, the vent. Yes, she did mention the vent. Yeah.
So this is the day that so it had just like fallen off.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. And then.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so we got here in the morning and we looked, and this is the vent had been like knocked open. And so we hadn't really been paying attention before, so I don't know if it was like easily to like fly open or not. So,
all right, so the kitchen area.
We don't experience too much in the kitchen when like both of us are home.
Okay.
But when one of us is gone and like we're in the other room, you can hear like pots like some things like dinking and popping in the kitchen. Yeah. Like, there's some noise that sounds like someone's like flicking a pot. Wow. Or like they're being moved around or shuffled. And it's happened about 3 times in like the past week and a half. It's only started to happen in the past week or so that we've been hearing it in the kitchen. And then I think Ashley said the first time that she like walked in the kitchen, the floor vibrated. But that's something to ask about her.
So then, must this happen at night, or does it happen during the day?
That happens during the day. We're not really here during the night.
Oh, that's
we
true.
leave. Okay. We usually get here from from around 10 or 11, and we stay till 7:30. Wow. Okay. And so all the stuff that happens now that we have been noticing happens during the day. It's usually when one of us is gone, like out to run an errand or something.
Okay, so you're telling us about the attic.
Yeah.
The infamous attic.
So I won't go in the attic anymore. But so we were talking to people from the town, and someone told us that when the kids were bad in the house, Miss Horlock would lock them in the attic.
No way.
So that's what we heard from the people in the town, and so that's why we think that the attic might have like the weird energy that it does. And so that's the extent of our knowledge of why the attic is the way it is. We also heard that it might have been a servant's quarters.
Wow. Okay.
And we don't, since the house was built in 1892, that was post the abolition of slavery.
Yes.
But the owner of this house was part of like the white men's group, so we think there might have still been slaves in this house.
Okay.
Past
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So,
and have y'all? You don't like going upstairs?
I don't go upstairs.
Okay. But y'all have.
I have been up a couple times because there was a water leak up there, so we're checking on like mold and stuff up there. But every time I go up there, I get like goosebumps and my heart starts to race and I get really hot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're here inside the house as it is now, and we just did the walkthrough. You heard all the stories from Shannon and Ashley, but now I'm gonna walk through and tell you exactly what we experienced and where, so y'all can watch the old footage as well. And I have Christina here with Christina Quinn. That's her YouTube channel. I'm gonna provide a link below. She's a friend of the Tripp. So here we are in the piano room. We had split up in two groups. The S group, they hear what sounded like a double tap on the piano. And while they were over here, they also heard a giggle. That was the first investigation. On the second investigation, the second time we came back here, the whole group was all together in this area, and we heard what sounded like a breath, like a heavy breath. And it all caused us to react. We started talking about it. In the middle of us all talking, you hear a very distinct whistle. And the funny thing is, nobody heard it except for Mel. Mel reacted, and none of us heard it until we went back and watched the video. So that's what happened here in the piano room, and it's crazy, guys. Check out this footage and let us know what you think.
Can you play another note for me? Come on, just one more. I want to hear you play. Can you tell us who you are? Do you want us to leave? It sounded like somebody laughed.
Yeah, I thought it was from Stray Kids.
I want to say Melissa. What was that? What is that? It's breathing. I just heard a.
Yeah. Did your phone vibrate?
Yeah. It did, yeah. Did you just hear a whistle? I think it's part of the laugh. No, it was a. I can't listen. It did, yeah. It did, yeah. It did, yeah. Okay.
The event. It made the news clip, but really they didn't do it justice. We were all down here, split up in groups. Our first investigation, we split up in groups, but we still stayed within the house. So the other group was upstairs, and you'll see that footage of the people upstairs as well. And then we heard a loud bang. It sounded like somebody fell or tripped over or knocked over a heavy piece of furniture. That's how loud it was. It echoed, and it sounded like, it felt like it vibrated. It was just way too loud. We all rushed to the staircase. We were looking up, the other group was looking down. They thought came from down here. We thought it came from up there. We were all worried that somebody got hurt. But eventually we found out that in what is now Shannon's room, used to be the museum, and they had displays, and a small little frame had fallen off the wall. Now, it could have just been the glue that came undone, but nobody understands how that made that much sound just by falling. It sounded like it was thrown. It was crazy. That's the very first night of the investigation, and that was just a prelude of all the crazy stuff that we experienced here. So check it out. Let us know what you think. Can you walk into one of these rooms? What happened, guys? What happened? Flashlight, flashlight. Oh shit.
Whoa, you okay?
Jesus Christ.
What was that?
Was that Ben?
Was that y'all?
That was not us. Who was that?
Everybody alright?
I don't know. It was not here.
What is that?
It came from in here. It sounded down here.
No, it was upstairs.
No, that was downstairs.
No, that was upstairs.
No, it wasn't. It sounded like somebody fell.
It sounded.
Hey. What?
Do you see from the stairs and everything?
That wasn't on the room before.
Turn the light on. Move.
What was that?
It was this.
Oh my god.
Oh, up there?
That's
Right there.
There.
Look. Off the wall.
Wow.
There's a video of that one. Look, I mean, that
Holy crap.
Somebody died for sure.
Yeah, and then we heard you going, what? We heard you screaming like somebody fell, somebody got pushed over.
Like, what the?
How did that happen?
We all was nobody in here.
No, we were in the...
But the guys were next door.
It could be.
It could be.
no.
But what are the odds? That was freaking loud.
What is this? It sounded like
There's no way that made that much sound, man.
those hands weren't there.
The freaking house was shaking.
That was loud.
I thought it was downstairs.
It's like, holy crap.
We were reenacting
The funny thing is, I'm like there and I'm standing and I'm asking, I'm saying, if you're in here, there's a make a noise, drop something.
Is that what you said? Drop something?
Yeah, I was saying close the door, rock the chair, do something. I said, come into the room with us, come and talk to us. Say your name. We want to talk to you. Come on in here, talk to us. And then all of a sudden,
You know, even if it did fall, this is very coincidental. Very coincidental. Okay, so now we're upstairs. During the first investigation, our groups were small and isolated. And when we were up here, we heard a woman's voice, which, again, the artists that stay here have heard a woman's voice. They're still hearing it. And during the second investigation, we were all upstairs and we heard a loud bang. But here, check it out and let us know what you think. You've got us all isolated now. We're by ourselves. Was that you? No. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did hear it, but
Was it outside?
it's hard for me to tell. It did sound like a voice outside, maybe.
It sounded like the same kind of laugh that we heard last time. What was that?
It was not me.
Where was it? Where'd that
It was
come
up here, though.
And the staircase. What can I say about the staircase? Especially during the second investigation, small little isolated groups. The other groups were a completely different part of the house, where we isolated the main part of the house so there wouldn't be cross-contamination. And when we were sitting here, when I was in the staircase and the other gentleman was right across from me, we heard what sounded like a hiss. And it's very distinct, you can hear it, but it did sound and feel like somebody was there. And also at the same time, we heard movement and knocking sounds. And then we had separated, and we had the S group. They came to the staircase while we left to the other part of the house. And the S group heard the piano again. And then again, as we were split up and isolated, and I was sitting over here with another investigator, my two-way radio, my walkie-talkie started going off. Just a lot of static. And then also while we were up here, we heard the female voice again. And then we heard what sounded like a scraping sound, which we were familiar with that scraping sound because it sounded like a door had opened. So check it out, let us know what you think. It's some crazy stuff. Here you go. Is there anybody either up here or downstairs? Oh, what the f*** that? What was that? That was somebody saying something downstairs. It sounded like... Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that was a voice. I'm sorry, was that you? If you had said something, can you please say it again? There's movement downstairs. Let me see if that's them or not. Are y'all guys moving around in the kitchen?
Say it again.
Is there any movement in the kitchen?
Absolutely none. We're sitting in front of the monitor.
That's creepy. Did they hear the hiss?
We heard a hiss coming downstairs. Nobody made a hiss or say anything?
No, it wasn't us.
What the f is that?
What is that?
Anybody moving? Any doors opening or closing out there?
There's no doors either. We have not moved from these 3 seats in front of this monitor.
You don't have to be afraid, baby. We're all friends here.
What was
I
that?
heard it. I just heard that again, Corey.
Was that what you're hearing?
That sounded like it was from the piano. Like, you remember when you hear the piano, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's exactly the noise I heard.
I know we're here later than the last time that we were here. That's only because we really need you to communicate with us. What the f was that? What the f was that? It sounds like there's somebody up here talking. I don't know, it could be downstairs, but I hear this. What the f is that? The f is that? What? Where's that coming from?
What are you talking about?
That. The walkie-talkie, did you hear that? If you're here, can you open a Horlock door for us? What the f was that? Holy shit. If we're keeping you awake, if we're keeping you up, you really need to let us know by giving us any sign. What the hell? That's that door, isn't it?
You guys just saw the door? Somebody sitting right here and she heard the same thing, but nobody came in or went out.
No freaking way. That was loud as hell. It was right when I asked too. All right, and now we're in what used to be the kids' room. This is when we first got here. Our first investigation, when we first started out, we started out here. And we heard, again, a common theme in this house. We heard what sounded like a woman's voice. And also, we heard what sounded like a whisper. The whisper, you might want to put headphones on, but check it out. It sounds like a whisper to me. Now, we did have a group here. It could have been one of us, but watch it and let us know what you think. Here you go. Can you move closer to the box? And move the ball? We understand this is your home, but we've been invited here to communicate with you.
Is there anybody here with us? Someone's going upstairs. I hear somebody on the stairs. Ask them if they're walking around downstairs.
Are y'all walking around downstairs?
Holy sh**. Did somebody just whisper? I'm getting really cold.
I'm broken out in nothing.
No, seriously. I'm cold right now.
Okay.
Come over here, come over here.
Okay, now, the other place where a lot of people feel uncomfortable, and not just because of the heat, it is hot up here, it's stuffy, but next to the staircase, and it's the attic. The attic is crazy. When we were split up in small groups during the first investigation, the S group was up here. As they were leaving, they heard a metallic clink, like something rattled up here, which is crazy. And also in the attic, isolated as well with the S group during the second investigation, which is crazy because now we know the history of what went on here in the attic. On the walkie-talkie, a little girl started talking and saying hello, hello, and they reacted. They tried to say hello back. Now, the crazy thing is that we didn't hear it downstairs. We didn't hear the little girl saying hello, so we thought they were talking to us. When they were leaving, as they were leaving, they heard another bang sound. So check it out, let us know what you think. It's some crazy stuff, and it's hot up here. It's always hot up here. Here you go.
It's pretty damn hot up here. I think we should go down.
Back to having the kitchen? Sounds good. Nobody's else. Nobody else.
What the hell is that? What?
It sounded like somebody hit the metal.
Something over there. What is that?
No one else is in the house with us. Nobody's else. Nobody else. Nobody's else. Nobody else. Nobody's else. Nobody else. They're in that back.
I keep hearing stuff over there.
What the hell?
What is that?
Hello, who is this? Hello. Yeah, that's me.
What's my face called?
Tell him we heard a female.
Did a girl call us?
Did a girl come on earlier?
No way.
We just heard 3 hellos.
A girl. Hello,
We just
hello,
heard
hello.
3 hellos from a girl on this channel.
What's that? What was that? You heard that right?
All right, guys. Now that was really cool. You know what? I really enjoyed coming back over here 10 years later to see what the house looks like now, and good to hear the stories of what they're experiencing is still happening, what we experienced here. So that was really cool.
Really,
What'd you think?
Crazy. I felt touches, especially on my legs and my shoulders and stuff like that. So guys, definitely check out this place. It's really crazy.
It's awesome. The artists here are cool, super sweet, and it's just a spooky place. I don't think it's anything dangerous, but it's spooky. And actually, we're about to go into town. We're getting hungry, so we can get something to eat. We're gonna explore Navasota because I heard Navasota has changed quite a bit. So we're gonna drive around town, see what's going on, what it looks like now, and then after that, we're gonna go get some mead at a meadery. So I'm looking forward to that. And guys, stick to the very end of this video, and I'm gonna actually include some surveillance video that these girls have been taking. But let's go ahead and get something to eat, and let's go get some mead. Let's go. Navasota, Texas, located about 73 miles northwest of Houston, about 115 miles west of Austin, was established on a bend of the Navasota River, for which the town is named, and near the spot where the La Bahia Road crossed the river. Initially, the site was named Hollandale, after Francis Holland, who bought and owned land in the area in 1822. The town was booming at the turn of the century, with railroads running through the town, and it became an important shipping and marketing center for the area. The town was incorporated in 1866, despite the Civil War. A warehouse explosion, which was filled with cotton and gunpowder torched by Confederate veterans, deadly cholera and yellow fever epidemics, and a tense confrontation between Ku Klux Klan and federal troops in town. Even after the Great Depression and the decline of agricultural interests, Navasota has persevered and is revitalized and flourishing as a travel destination. It's also been designated as the blues capital of Texas in honor of native Mance Lipscomb. Navasota has definitely changed in the 10 years or so since we initially visited. But now it's time to go meet with Rodney and Heather at a local meadery to reanalyze the old footage from the investigations and, well, enjoy a few glasses of mead, of course.
Guys, yeah, Gabriel just threw this on me at the last minute, so I am going to actually do an intro for you guys. We are at Wild Flyer Mead Company out in Navasota, Texas. I'm going to do a little Tripp Flashback on got some highlights on the Horlock House. Just want you guys to check out some of these videos. Gabriel's going to be talking some more too, so told him I wouldn't hog up most of the camera time. So you guys take a look, enjoy this episode of Roadtripp Flashback.
What we're gonna do now is that we want to go through the footage, the old footage of what we recorded, because this house had so much activity that it's really hard to believe that we captured that much activity.
This was what, one night?
We did 3 investigations. The 2 nights that we went was so much activity, and the fact that the artists that are staying there are still experiencing the same thing. That's crazy. This exact 90. They said 90% of the things that we had told them we experienced there, they experienced too. We've never spoken, so that kind of gives things validity for me, because I already know we don't fake stuff. I don't automatically assume everything's paranormal. But the thing is that it's not. It can't be coincidence. What we heard and what we experienced is the same thing that they're hearing and they're experiencing. What are the odds? What are the odds?
Yeah, because a lot of people think you might think I'm crazy, but this is what happens, and you get out to a place.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But this, on the other hand, exactly, their experiences back up with what you guys found out.
So Rodney, you watched some of it, man, and I know we started out in the first part. We were upstairs in a room. We were all together as a group, and I got my notes here just because there's so much stuff that happened. You know, we were all together, and then we heard a woman's voice. Was that you? Now we're moving back down. We're all moved into the as a big group into the piano room. We all sit around, and we heard what sounded like a breath, like, you know, we heard it. We broke silence, and we were all like kind of like started talking because of the breath. In the middle of all our talking, you hear a whistle.
I heard that
it was
too.
I just heard a...
Yeah. Did your phone vibrate?
Yeah. It did, yeah. Did you just hear a whistle? I think it was part of the laugh. No, it was a
The crazy thing is nobody heard it except Mel, and she was even saying, "Did y'all hear that?" And I didn't even know it even existed until I watched the footage, and I'm like, Mel was right. What do you think, man? What do you think?
Yeah, that was clearly, there was nothing I can even think unless somebody was woohooing outside. You know, like maybe they were coming back from a bar and they were all woohoo.
Right. But there's no bar around there.
There's no bar around there.
It's like a neighborhood.
That sounded, I mean, it did sound inside.
Yeah.
And you really, to be honest, you don't have to turn your headphones up because I mean, what, but good 1 or 2 seconds.
What kind of ghost would do that, man? Like, one of those
exactly. So there's no, there was nothing around that could have even possibly.
Hey, but you know what? That validates what Mel heard. that night, we all said, we didn't hear nothing. I mean, none of us heard it. And when I reviewed the footage, there was clear as day. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's unmistakable. How, and nobody else heard it. Like, wow. Mel is our sensitive, but the camera picked it up too, which validates her, what she heard. So check it out. Let us know what you think. I mean, it's crazy, but it's funny, but it's crazy.
Your phone vibrating?
It did, yeah. Did you just hear a whistle?
Let's talk about the event. I mean, the event is what we call it.
Actually, I jumped at that when I saw that video, man.
When you're going to use headphones,
turn down the volume a little bit. Yeah, just because of this one thing.
But that's the point. How loud was that?
That was so
How loud was that? Did that little picture frame, did it cause that much noise? Did you think it could possibly cause that much noise?
I don't think it did. To be honest, I don't. The size of this picture frame. I mean, I don't know what the. Yeah, I mean, it was small.
It's like a little canvas.
But when it landed on everything else, I mean, yeah, that was loud. I mean, it sounded like a loud bang. It didn't sound like this little bitty picture, this size, falling down onto hardwood floors. It wasn't even framed at all.
Yep. Yeah. I have something to say about it.
Well, no, you can. And Heather's here. So you're in camera. So real quick, because I already talked about it, I will completely agree if somebody says, oh, it was hot, the glue, and it fell off. I agree. That's possible. Absolutely. I agree with that. But would it have caused that loud of a noise? No. I mean, it sounded like somebody dropped something or fell over something.
It sounded like a piece of furniture literally fell over. But my thing was, I don't know if you noticed, we're gonna have to find the second that it happened, but when you heard it, and then the second camera played it, and they heard it upstairs, right? When you were running toward, I guess, the staircase, and you're like, oh my God, and you're talking to them on, there is a moment where something flies by you.
Oh wow.
And like fast, like zoom, like that, and you can barely notice it. Like you have to slow it down.
Okay.
And I don't know if it looked like it was coming from down the staircase.
Yeah.
And zoom, like that. Like, so I don't know what that was, but we might need to take a second look at that.
Well, that staircase is very, very active. The artists that were there, they didn't even want to be by the staircase. When Rodney, when you first showed up, that staircase was giving you that funhouse effect.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. I noticed a lot of the stairs creak really loud, so you cannot sneak around or anything in there. They know if you're walking around. But it did. I guess it wobbled, moved over. I mean, some of the steps actually sunk down. Yeah. So if you're walking around at night and you have a flashlight going on, you're going to have a funhouse effect on this. Some of the places wasn't level enough. And even if you're coming down, you can also kind of feel like you're getting pushed a little bit.
But as far as that image that went through, I've never noticed. I'm going to go check it out. In fact, guys, you check it out, listen to it. In fact, y'all probably already heard it because we played it when we were doing the walkthrough. But just listen to it again and let's watch the footage to see if we can see that thing going by and let us know what you think.
What happened, guys? What happened? Flashlight. Oh shit.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
What was that?
Was that them?
Was that y'all? That was not us. Who was that?
Everybody I don't know. It was not here.
What is that?
It came from in here. It sounded down here.
No, it was upstairs.
No, that was downstairs.
No, that was upstairs.
After that, we split up in small groups, and then one of the groups, the S group, heard the piano going off. There was a piano that used to be there in the piano room, and you can hear what we initially thought was the sound of a double key striking. It's like boom, boom.
Do you want us to leave?
Right. I want to tell you probably what I heard. Like I said, this is another good example. You can turn your volume back up, listen with the headphones, because what they may have heard could be a piano. What I heard, actually, maybe the sound of a train horn from a distance. This is Texas. There are a lot of trucks, and some of these trucks have train horns installed on them. Now, there are train tracks close by, and you do hear the trains honking the horn. That, to me, that's what it sounded like. Like I said, I had headphones on and I kept listening over and over again.
Was it off in the distance?
It sounded very, yeah, it was off in the distance, like somebody just, like your people don't want a horn to get somebody to move out of light. They did that, but to me it sounded like a train horn. But that's just what I heard. I'm not saying that's what exactly.
No, when we went back again and you saw part 2, and we were split up again, and they were in the stairwell, and they heard that piano sound again.
What was that?
I just heard that again, Corey.
Was that what you're hearing?
It sounded like it was from the piano.
Yes.
Was it similar? Or
actually, no. Actually, it wasn't. It sounded different. It sounded more of a piano.
It sounded like a piano.
So that kind of blows my theory of it could have been a train horn in the back, because it sounded, even though it wasn't the 2-note sound. Yeah. It was the one, but that was clearly, I mean, from growing up in a musical family, you know, especially with my dad playing the piano over the years, I know what it sounds like. I know with tuning a piano, but that one, that sounded more. It had a musical note to it.
One thing that for me always gives me goosebumps, because I was part of that. Yeah, I was there, and we were isolated. We have to put that in perspective. We were isolated. It was just 2 of us in that area. Nobody else was around us. We were in the stairwell again, man. That freaking staircase. We heard that hiss. What do you think, man? Whenever I heard it, it sounded, not only did it sound like they were right there with us, but it felt like somebody was right there, like
it was in the microphone. Like they were like, hey.
Yeah, or they were like right down the stairs, like right next to us, and they're like maybe telling us to I don't know. What do you think, man?
That's the same. I feel the same on this one. There was so much going on out there. Yeah, that hiss was way too close to the mic on with your camera. Yeah. Yeah, there of course it couldn't have been a cat. It could have been, but there are no cats or any type of animals that was inside.
No animals, not
so. Yeah, it almost it sounded very intelligent to get your attention, and the way it did it, I guess it decided it wanted to do it the creepiest way possible.
Is there anybody either up here or downstairs? Oh, what the f*** that? What was that? That was somebody saying something downstairs. It sounded like... Yeah.
And within that same time frame, I mean, not too long after that, there was movement and knocking, and then more knocking, and we used our radio to call the other group, because they were separated in a different part of the house. And we asked them, hey, are you guys moving? And they said, absolutely not. We're sitting at the table, quiet. I can't explain it. So I mean, it's maybe the house settling, right?
It could have been, like the previous episodes we talked about that, you know, with the house settling.
But how much? I mean,
to the
point where it's like, does it settle? Does it? Is there this much contraction and expansion?
Yeah.
Constantly? I mean,
no, only to a certain point, and then the house gets to that ambient temperature, you know, from the outside. But if it continues doing that afterwards, I mean, there are so many though.
Well, for me, you know, like I remember that it gives me goosebumps, because it did feel like somebody was right there. I'm not saying it was paranormal or not. I'm not going to say that, but it felt like somebody was there. I can't explain it. I still can't explain it. So, guys, just check it out and let us know what you think. Watch it again and let us know. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think.
There's movement downstairs. Let me see if that's them or not. Are y'all guys moving around in the kitchen?
Absolutely not. We're sitting in front of the monitor.
What the f is that? What is that? Anybody moving? Any doors opening or closing out there?
There's no doors either. We have not moved from these 3 seats in front of this monitor.
What do you think of what do you think of the attic, man?
Attic. Okay.
Heather, what did you think of the attic?
The attic was very oppressive, very heavy. It felt like once you got out there, it's kind of like Hotel California. You could not leave. Like that. That's what the presence up there felt. It was like, I'm trapped up here. I'm oppressed. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Very heavy. So there was something in that one corner, which was right above supposedly the master bedroom, that really I felt a presence there.
You know what kind of puts things into perspective now that we didn't know back then is that the Shannon was telling us that through her research she found out that the Horlock family punished their kids in the attic.
Used to lock them up there.
Used to lock them up there when they acted up, and we heard that voice, that girl saying hello through the radio, the two-way radio. Which is crazy because it was on a private channel that was locked in with upstairs and the group downstairs, which I was with the group downstairs, and they heard the hello upstairs. We didn't hear it downstairs. So whenever they were trying to make contact with the girl saying hello, we thought they were talking to us.
Wow.
We were like, what, did you say something? Yeah. But how can that happen? Is that possible that an interference only with their radio and not ours?
Okay. From my experience working in telecommunications and radio for a few years, yeah, you guys both radios would have to pick up that because y'all are both on the same frequency on the same channel.
Absolutely.
Now, if it was somebody from a ham radio, some type of radio operator, even somebody on a CB radio passing by, just so happens to be on that channel, you guys would both pick it up, not just one. That's from my experience from because I've had that happen before, but it would actually be somebody's actual radio signal crossing over. But that right there, especially, is a little girl.
It sounded like a little girl. It sounded like a girl saying hello.
So that's an intelligent haunting. That's not residual.
It's not residual.
No,
I told them, like,
the girls kept saying they felt like it was just...
I don't think it's residual. I think maybe the footsteps, but I think 50-50 residual and definitely something intelligent there.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. And then they heard the footsteps on the stairs.
I heard those too.
Yeah. That sounded like heavy footsteps.
It was definitely heavy booted.
With all the creaking?
Yeah, booted footsteps that, did I say that right? Wow. Booted.
Booted footsteps. I was thinking of footsteps. I was thinking the same thing, that it was boots.
Yeah.
Footsteps.
Yeah. Bootsteps, oh God.
And what do you think, maybe there's some, I mean, Ronnie, you have experience in telecommunications, but maybe there's some kind of electrical radio engineer who can give us more perspective.
Exactly. Yes.
But you guys, if y'all watch it, let us know what you think. We still can't explain it, man. You know what? There's so much evidence, so much stuff that happened that night to go through. But let's just wrap it up real quick. When we were in the stairwell again, and then we heard that woman's voice.
We really need you to communicate with us.
To me, it's pretty unmistakable that it was a female voice. The radio went off, and it was like staticky.
What the f is that? The f is that? What? Where's that coming from?
What are you talking about?
That the walkie-talkie. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Can that happen? I mean, what
it can. It can if you try to get some interference. On the two, I mean, you're talking, these are just two-way radios.
Yeah.
So you can. There can be static, just interfering periodically. I mean, even if it's a lightning or some type of electromagnetic charge rushes through the air, it's going to pick up some static electricity. But it goes back to what we said previously when that little girl came through. Hello.
Yeah.
Both radios would pick it up.
Did both radios pick it up?
No.
Just that one.
And it's pretty coincidental that it happened right then, and at the same time we heard the female voice coming down the hallway, and then we heard that scraping sound.
If we're keeping you awake, if we're keeping you up, you really need to let us know by giving us any sign. What the hell? That's that door, isn't it?
That to us sounded like that door. There was a door when it opens. It has that scraping sound.
Yes.
You know, so and we know nobody else was moving around because we asked. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, it definitely was a door scraping. And was it close by? Because it sounded close by.
It was definitely close by. It was probably underneath us. Okay. Yeah, because you know we were like upstairs in the stairwell.
Yeah, unless somebody else was possibly coming inside the house, cribbing a little air suction, maybe pushed it, but everybody was accounted for.
Everybody was accounted for. Nobody was moving. Nobody left. Nobody. Yeah. So, like I said, there's a lot more that happened. You guys can watch the full thing. We were there three times.
Yes.
2 out of 3 times. The third time was really quiet. Nothing happened. So on the K2 rating from 1 to 5, because it's so active the first 2 times and it was kind of quiet the last time, I'm going to take off 0.5. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 on the K2 rating. What do you think, man?
Actually, I'm going to give it a 4.0. Actually, 4.0, yeah, because it's, 2/3 the time.
What do you think, Heather?
The energy I felt today, I'd probably give it about a 4.5. The energy I felt in the house, yes, it was a constant. There was somebody, a presence there for sure.
So we're going to stick with the 4.5, 2 out of 3 votes. So guys, man, what'd you think of the Horlock House?
Oh, I want to go. I want to go back. We've got to go back.
Shannon and Ashley, thank you so much.
Yes,
you guys are awesome as hell. Talented artists.
Absolutely.
Man, Navasota has surprised me. Whenever I came last, it wasn't like this now. There's such a good vibe, such a good feel. It's definitely a road trip destination.
Absolutely.
The restaurant you took us to, the Rock, what was it called?
Coffee Company.
Yeah. And how
Cheers
is
to Navasota.
how is the Wildfire Mead Company?
Yes.
Oh
How
my
is
God,
this place, man?
This is great.
Agio Namara.
There you go. But the mead is awesome, man. The drive, look, just the drive alone to get here for me is so worth it. It's so serene. It's such a beautiful drive up here. You guys definitely need to hit it. Man, Navasota is a destination for a great road trip, even if it doesn't involve the paranormal. But if you want to throw in the paranormal, go to the Horlock House.
Yes, day tripper, do it.
Man, and you know what? And before we cut out, before we say thank you, I want to give a shout out to a friend of the trip who just happens to be here. Texas Ghost Scouts. We're going to provide a link down below. Go check out their website.
Absolutely.
They have awesome evidence.
Thank you so much.
And we always enjoyed having them. Joanna couldn't be here. It's her birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you guys. Thank you for joining us on this one. Please stay safe and healthy. We want to see you on the next road trip, which might be the Navasota Horlock. So, guys, take care. Please click, like, subscribe. Help us out a lot, man. This mead is kicking.
Revelation.
This mead is kicking in.
Revelation.
See you guys on the next one. Rodney, you know how to say goodbye. Take care, guys. Peace. We're out. Hey guys, thank you for sticking through the whole video. This was by far one of our longest, but here's the bonus footage. It's the static surveillance camera footage that the artist sent me when there was nobody home, and that's the key word, nobody was home. So check it out, and please let us know what you think down below in the comments. Here you go.